Hey, what's up everyone? Adam here with brahwegotthis, and today we are going to be doing the 7.2.0 patch notes for Update 32, the Deadlands DLC for ESO. I do this every patch now where I go and I react to the patch notes. I kind of go over and highlight the important things that I see that I think are going to be interesting or big changes to the game. So if you do like these videos, make sure to leave a like and subscribe and heavy attack that bell icon to stay up to date on all the content in the channel. I really enjoy making these, so just let me know down in the comments below. But real quick, I want to give a shout out to all the patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you'd like to become a patron, you can check out the link below in the description. You get your name up here on the screen, you get early access, and there's actually new perks coming in the month of October, so definitely check those out. I have it updated on the Discord. It will go live on October 1st, and you can always watch me stream live on twitch.tv/brahwegotthis, and we have a Discord and a website, brahwegotthis.com as well, so check out all that stuff in the description. But let's go ahead and jump into the patch notes. I have not seen any of these yet. Okay, so we got the post here by Gina Bruno. And so again, what I do is I just kind of go through the most important things that I see, and I just kind of like to react to it. So the Deadlands DLC introduces several new item sets, collectibles, outfit styles, achievements, titles, and more. The base game will introduce some exciting new features, including the new Armory System, which we will have a guide in the channel for, which allows you to save out character builds, curated item set drops to help better ensure you get these items that are not unlocked yet. That is like the smart RNG I was talking about. You get some new Mythic Items and NVIDIA, DLSS, and DLAA support. But here's all the details. There's also a number of changes with combat and itemization, including some adjustments to proc sets and critical hit damage. Also, there are spoilers probably in this, so if you don't want spoilers, just a heads up. So this will include, the Deadlands will include exciting zone story, 2 new delves, 2 powerful world bosses, and new wandering executioner bosses to give you the ultimate challenge. I'm actually really excited about that. So that is Sefel the Despoiler, Vorshalaza the Anvil, and Kothan the Razorsworn are the chosen executioners of Marin's Dagon, patrolling the Deadlands in search of challenges to prove themselves to the Prince of Destruction. These dangerous enemies, designed to be fought with a group of players, are relentless in their pursuit across Marin's Dagon's domain. That's really cool. Okay, so some new item sets. We've got some crafted ones here. Wretched Vitality adds 129 magical recovery, 129 stamina recovery, 129 weapon and spell damage. While in combat, applying a major buff or debuff to a target grants you 260 magic and stamina recovery for 15 seconds. On combat, applying a minor buff or debuff to target grants you 130. Dang, that's actually really solid. That's like I feel like that'd be a really good beginner tank and healer set. That's actually really good. Deadlands Demolisher, max stamina, weapon spell damage, max stamina. Your bash attacks deal 935 more damage. When you bash, you also deal physical damage in a cone in front of you, interrupting any enemy's hit. This effect can occur once every 2 seconds and counts as bash damage. Oh, interesting. Okay, I like that. Iron Flask, max health, armor. When you drink a potion while in combat, reduce your damage taken by 12% for 20 seconds. Jeez Louise. Okay, some interesting crafting sets here. Okay, so 3 new Overland sets. What do these look like? Eye of the Grasp. This is a light set. Adds max magica, weapon and spell damage. Adds 657 critical chance. When you deal critical damage, generate 7 ultimate. This effect can occur once every 5 seconds. Jeez Louise. So if you have like a high crit chance, you're just gaining ultimate. My gosh, that set might actually be really good. Hexos Warden Medium. Critical chance, weapon and spell damage, critical chance. Dealing critical damage with the direct damage ability grants you a damage shield that absorbs damage for 6 seconds. This effect can occur once every 6 seconds. Huh. Wonder, that's a medium set, huh? That's a really interesting medium set. I don't know how I feel about that, actually. Kind Marcher's Cruelty. This is a heavy set. Max health, stamina recovery, armor. When you deal direct damage, you apply 1 of 5 random major debuffs to enemies within 8 meters of you for 18 seconds. The effect can occur once every 8 seconds and only if an enemy is in range. Eligible debuffs are Major Breach, Major Cowardice, Major Defile, Major Maim, and Major Vulnerability. Jeez Louise. Okay. These are some interesting sets. Honestly, these sets seem very like they want you to push the armor sets into DPS and to tank. Like the medium set feels like a tank set. Like that doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a stamina DPS set. I don't know why it just doesn't. But that heavy set also is feeling interesting, like because it's when you deal direct damage. So it's like, I don't know, that's interesting. The Armory System. Okay, introducing the Armory, a new system that helps relieve the friction between switching and experimenting with your character builds. The Armory allows you to save any of your custom character builds, remembering your gear, attributes, abilities, champion points, and even if you are a werewolf or a vampire. It's amazing. The Armory is free to all players. To get started, simply obtain the Armory Station from the Crown Store and place it in any of your homes. Armory Assistant, the Grashrog, is also available for a separate purchase. Note that you cannot save or load builds without interacting with an Armory Station or talking to the Armory Assistant. Interesting. Okay. Curated item drops. This is the smart RNG we were talking about. Wait, bosses and reward chests from arenas and incursions will now preferentially drop items that you have not unlocked in your item set collection. Most bosses in the game, along with the reward chest for arenas and incursions, will now drop the sets. These sources will only drop the set items they can normally drop. The ways to acquire a particular item aren't changed, but it should be much easier to find items that you have not yet unlocked. Set items looted from treasure chests, though, containers, and from non-boss monsters are generally not curated in this manner. Okay. Item set collection summary. So now we have a summary page on the item set collection UI, which is really nice. Okay. We've got 3 new mythic items. Here we go. Update 32 adds 3 new mythic items. Note the Greymark chapter is required to get these antiquities. Marken Ring of Majesty. Gain 100 weapon and spell damage and 1157 armor for each 3 set bonus active on the wearer. Interesting. Wait, so developer comment. This set's effect counts for any 3 or 5 piece set in which you're wearing a minimum of 3 of the pieces. For example, wearing 3 pieces of agility here counts as a 3 set bonus on the wearer. Wearing 3 pieces of hunting's rage also counts as a 3 set. Nice. So it's actually really cool. Okay, so they're finally integrating. This is kind of what we were talking about. They're finally integrating mythic items into item sets. Like, so you get like extra bonuses if you're wearing other item sets with it, which is really cool. Belhazara's Band. Increase the damage of your light attack by 1185. When you deal damage with consecutive melee light attacks, gain a stack of Belhazara's Temper for 10 seconds, up to 5 stacks max. When you perform a fully charged heavy attack, consume the Temper and deal physical damage per stack to the enemy in a line after a 1-second delay, stunning them for 3 seconds if 5 stacks are consumed. This effect can occur once every 4 seconds and scales off the higher your weapon or spell damage. That's really interesting. It might be like a PvP mythic. Spalter of Ruin. Activating crouch toggles on and off a 12-meter... Wait. Activating crouch toggles on and off a 12-meter aura of pride. Up to 6 allies in the aura gain 260 weapon and spell damage, reducing your weapon and spell damage by 130 for every group member benefiting from your aura of pride. That's really interesting. So you're basically like crouching because you're giving up your pride and kneeling, and your allies gain a ton of weapon and spell damage while you lose a ton of weapon and spell damage. So like, what would be the point of that? Only activating crouch toggles aura pride on and off. Exiting crouch will not toggle this set on or off. Interesting. That's actually really interesting. So like you could play like a support role with this and activate this on there, and you're kind of just giving them tons of benefits with this. That's really interesting. This is gonna be really interesting to test. Okay, combat and abilities. Critical damage and healing now has a hard cap of 125%. Note this value can go beyond 125%, but your critical strikes will not deal more than 125% damage or healing in total. Currently, critical chance continues to remain the best stat in the game by a large margin in PvE due to no effective cap on the bonus and a large array of sourcing of critical damage and healing amplifications. Rather than nerfing the values of these sources across the board and hurting build choices that aren't overperforming, we've decided to add a ceiling to the effectiveness of the critical potency to ensure the stat remains powerful. but doesn't continue experiencing power creep as we add more options to the build for the future. It should have very low impact on unoptimized builds, while also reigning in groups who are coordinating many sources of these bonuses and producing extraordinary results of damage or healing. So crit was nerfed in some ways. They say it's not nerfed, but effectively for the higher end players, it is nerfed because you're not going to be able to go above that cap. So made the following adjustments to bash. This core combat skill now has a cooldown of 333 ms down from 350 ms to ensure it can be cast up to 3 times per second at most. Reduce the cost to 765 down from 8889. Thank gosh, to ensure it's 1/3 of melee spammable. The damage now scales with a mixture of physical and spell resistance, plus 1 extra damage to ensure you're at zero for these stats. So it's the target. Use the cooldown phase after activating bash to prevent you from casting another active ability. Okay. Fix an issue where some proc-based conditions could unintentionally succeed when removing negative ground effects. This damage from this can now trigger enchantments and poisons. Interesting. So this could be an interesting way to play the game because they're trying to buff bash, and so it mixture of your physical and spell resistance. So if you had a tank, you might be able to go like a heavy DPS. You know what I mean? Okay. Dragonite, Ardent Flame, Combustion. Increase the resources granted from this passive to 500, 1000 stamina or magicka, up from 250 to 500. Added a cooldown of to each effect, which are separately tracked to one another to make up for the above increase in massive buff charged trait is getting. Inferno. This ability and the cauterized morph now grant both major prophecy and savagery rather than only prophecy. Into Oblivion morph. This morph now launches 3 fireballs up from 2 since it lost part of its unique morph function. Lava Whip. This ability and its morph now scale for your highest offensive stats rather than exclusively magicka based stat. May this finally end the fiery age-old debate over getting a stamina whip. Flame Lash morph. Interesting. Okay, so we might be getting a stamina morph. Fix an issue where the morph did not apply off balance. The override ability, Power Lash, now heals immediately rather than over 2 seconds, but its total healing per cast has been reduced. Molten Whip. Seething Fury now lasts 10 seconds per stack, up from 5, to help it feel way less stressful to use in a rotation and allow for activation of burst at the perfect moment. World and Ruin. This passive now increases your damage done with flame and poison attacks by 2 to 5% rather than increasing your damage done with area of effect flame attacks by 3 and 6, and reducing the cost of your poison abilities by 12 and 25. Interesting. Okay. Dang. Okay, so Dragonites are getting a buff. Okay, I like this. Ash Cloud. The ability and its morphs now cost 378 magicka every second while active. Wait. Ash Cloud. The ability and its morphs now cost 3. Rather than having a massive upfront cost of 5, 6, 7. Keeping their cost per second relatively the same while removing the penalty of having to recast the ability aside from losing a global cooldown. 15 times over the duration, down from 16. Battle Royals. Passive now restores 2550 health, magic, and stamina per ultimate consumed rather than... Okay. So Dragonites are getting a buff. So this is going to be really interesting to try out. Because, yeah, this is actually really nice. I'm really interested to see how this plays out on the PTS. Necromancer, Grave Lord. Boneyard increased the damage of this ability and morphs by approximately 10% per tick since they tick 10 times instead of 11. Jeez. That's even better. Nightblade, Assassination, Grim Focus. This ability and its morphs now grant 1% damage done per stack rather than 2%. Critical damage and healing per stack. Oh gosh, did that get nerfed? Wait. This change was done to help ensure the class keeps up in damage after the introduction of critical potency cap. Wait, ability and its morph now grant 1% damage done per stack rather than 2% critical damage and healing per stack. That's better, I guess? Okay. Path of Darkness. Twisting Path. This ability's damage now scales dynamically with the highest of your offensive stats. Ooh, so that might be like a stamina thing now. All right, fitness. So champion system now. Fitness. Pain's Refuge. The star now reduces your damage taken by 2% for every 2 negative effects on you rather than 1% for an effect. The cap remains at 20%. This is a big thing to items. The following rules will now be applied with item sets when applicable, and has been applied to all existing sets. Sets that grant weapon or spell damage now grant both. Sets that grant physical spell penetration now grant both. Sets that grant weapon or spell critical now grant both. This is a big change, all. Like, I don't think you guys understand like how massive of a change this is, like, to armor. Just absolutely massive change to armor. Like, that means like Mother Sorrow is going to be weapon critical now, as well as spell critical. Like, so as seen in recent updates, improving character hybridization has been a focus by the team in efforts to better bring life to the mantra of play the way you want. This is another large-scale effort done to help better realize that statement. Item sets should empower you to get excited to build and experiment different things and fit in your character myriad of ways, and we hope this helps better do that. Item sets that scale of weapon damage, spell damage, max magic, and max stamina can now again critically strike. Item sets that scale in order of magnitude are based on additional modifiers such as Relic and Razan will not critically strike. Many of these sets have received adjustments to their power as well. Below are the sets that can critically strike and have had their scaling values reduced by approximately 5%. So basically proc sets can critically strike now. Is that basically what I'm hearing? It's interesting, chat. That is interesting. Item traits. Okay, charged. Increase the potency of this trait to 480%, up from 220% to ensure it's more competitive with other traits in terms of effectiveness. Jeez Louise. Currently, this trait is being engaged with mainly by Dragonites trying to get as much sustain as they can, and we'd like the trait to be a bit more than a one-note wonder. Now, it should help empower those crafty status effect builds out there and have some better synergy with effects to activate them. Nice, so Charge got a big buff. Okay. Ability altering weapons. Chaotic Whirlwind. Okay. Dark Convergence. This is what everyone wants to know from PvP. Reduce this set's damage by approximately 59%, but increase the scaling per target to 50%, up from 10%. Reduce the radius of the effect to 10 meters, down from 12. This set now pulls once after its delay rather than twice over its duration. Pulls all nearby targets rather than 6 per pull, so that it remains effective against large groups. So that's really going to cover the patch notes. So the big major takeaways from this that I saw was some of the major updates we're getting to the base game, which is the Armory update. The Armory update is going to be massive. Again, I'm going to have a guide on that here soon. Also, the item curation process is going to be nice, because that means that basically you never have to like farm for hours and hours and hours now for like that Medusa Inferno staff or Maelstrom staff you've been wanting, because it's going to be curated to where it gives you something that you don't already have. That's really big. The other big things I'm seeing is like seems like a big buff to Dragonite. So we're gonna see maybe the magic of Dragonite is gonna probably be stronger. Stamina Dragonite looks like it's gonna be better. So that's interesting. The charged trait is also something that got buffed, so I'm interested to see if that trait sees any more play than it already does. And then the other major thing really for me is the item sets. So first off, the mythic items. Mythic items are very interesting. The crouch mythic item, I don't know what to think about that yet, but that's like something that's really kind of cool. The light attack one is interesting too. And then the one that goes off of your item sets that you have on is also interesting. Those I'm interested to see kind of what those can do. But what the other thing about the item sets that are really interesting in this patch is the fact that item sets can now crit again. They have now made it to where item sets have hybrid stats on basically every item set. So builds are going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of this patch, because like, I mean, you can run Mother Sorrow now, I guess, on your stamina characters, you know what I mean? Like, and it seems like they're trying to introduce a bash that is like really good. And so I'm interested to see if bash is something that gets introduced more into builds. I think that's going to be really interesting. But yeah, that's kind of my takeaways. In my opinion, it's a it's more of a quality of life update, especially with the armory system and the item curation. It seems like this is something they've been waiting to do for a while. So yeah, I mean, maybe next year we're gonna get a new class or something like that. But you know, I think it's a really interesting update for that. But let me know what you guys think about the comments, and I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. But you can always follow me on Twitter. You can check out the link below in the description. You can also come watch me play live on twitch.tv/brahwegotthis. You can check out our Discord, and you can check out our website at brahwegotthis.com. But check out the links all below in the description. But until next time, y'all, just remember to have faith, be great, and I'll see you on ESO.